Aloha mai kako, o wau no o Puanani Kama ke poʻokumu ma ke ia kula o ke Kula Kamaliʻi o Hānaiaulu. Aloha, my name is Puanani Kama and I am the director here at the Hānaiaulu Childcare Center at Windward Community College. So our Childcare Center is a Hawaiian immersion childcare center, and we provide care for children 0 to 3 years old. And what that means is our keiki are 6 months at the youngest, and we keep them up until 3 years old. And the reason why we chose that age group is because there's so many preschools out there, but childcare for 0 to 3-year-olds is really sparse and very expensive. So our student parents, they got together with our chancellor artist Eschenberg, and about 7-8 years ago they wrote a grant together to help and provide support for our student parents on campus. When you come into our center, our kumu will greet you at the door. You do a Hānaiaulu as a makua to make sure that you're makokau to bring your keiki in. We're not a drop-off site, so you don't just drop your keiki off and leave and run to your class. You have to come in a little bit early. You drop off your keiki, make sure they're makokau, wahole lima, they wash their hands, and they did their, their noi komo, their Hānaiaulu to come inside, their little speech to come inside. And then once they're makokau and you think that they're, malie, then you can go and ha'alele to your class. Sometimes, of course, the keiki are gonna cry, so until they get ma'a, you just make sure they're makokau with other things. And even though they might ue, then the makua have to head out, and we just tell them, ahuiho, ho'i mai o mama or papa, yeah, your parents are gonna come back. And then from there, our kumu usually serve them some breakfast, so it's wa'ai, and then ai lako i ka aina kakahiaka, they eat their breakfast. And after breakfast, they let them play, and kids, they learn a lot through play. So we do a lot of play, and they teach them all the ho'olelo for all the different playing things that they're playing with. And it's normal to have circle time in preschool. So what we do is a little bit of a shortened version of a circle time because our keiki can't really focus that long. So in the pepe room with the infants, they do a piko, and their piko lasts about 5 minutes. They do their oli, they do a little bit of a singing session, and if the keiki are done, then they're done real quick. But if they're not, then they go as long as the keiki are interested, and they go back to playing. And the infant room is a little different. You just go by the schedule of the child because you can't put them on a schedule yet. Just developmental wise, they're not makokau for a schedule. When you come into the Kamaliʻi room, they're a little bit older, so we start putting them on a schedule. They do their breakfast, they do their wapiko, which is about another 5 minutes, and we keep it real short. They do oli, pule, Hawaii pona'i, then olelo no eo, and we keep it real quick, about 5 minutes. Then they go pa'ani, they go play outside, as long as weather permits, because it rains a lot in Kane'ohe. Then after that, they come back in, they do lina poi poi with their kumu. It's maybe 2 or 3 songs, and they do a little reading of a book, and they're ready to go play already. So that kind of is like the morning routine for both of the classrooms. Then they have lunch. Wa'ai is an important time for our keiki to learn how to eat, how to talk story while they're eating, how to interact with others. It's just like when we're at home. We have time together to just sit down, relax, talk story. And so we don't make them be quiet. A lot of things that I've heard for our keiki in schools, you gotta be quiet. I remember growing up that way. The cafeteria lady said, hey, be quiet. But we encourage them to talk story, to eat nicely, to use their motor skills to practice eating and using their fork, their o, and all that kind of stuff. So the kumu they're really big. They're a really big part of making sure our keiki are not just fed, but they are also hanai. They're fed physically, food, but also emotionally. They're fed by providing them different things that they're learning. So they're fed in various ways. Auntie Tuti Kanahele, she named our center, and our center's name Hānaiaulu. It means to feed and to grow. And that name it's such a fitting name because we're not just feeding the keiki. Our kumu and our staff, we feed the student parents as well. So we teach them sometimes how to provide care for their keiki in the most healthy way. They don't always come from a healthy family dynamic, so we try to guide them and hanai to feed them on how to take care of their keiki properly. We also have our counselor on staff who helps to hanai to feed them, to help them grow as students, so that they can get through school. And this support is a big thing for student parents and non-traditional students so that they can persist and finish their college degrees. And our kumar, they're just such a big part of that because they're in the nitty-gritty parts of school every day, being with the keiki, taking care of the keiki, changing their diapers. They're malama, they're caring for our keiki. They put them to sleep when they have nap. They clean the classroom with their kako'o. And that's something that's always been done even before this whole coronavirus. They just clean every single toy. And so it takes a lot of time and effort on our kumu's parts to make sure our space is safe for our keiki in all kinds of ways. In a safe, healthy environment for their physical space, for their emotional state. And I'm privileged to be able to do what I love to do and come to work every day and feel like I'm at my second family home and hang out with kids once in a while I help their kumu take their breaks and then go back to my office and do all the paperwork stuff. And yeah, I love my job.